This is the Redmi Note 12 4G, a sub $200 smartphone that is part of a wider range of Xiaomi phones within this series that is quite confusing, but we'll leave that till later. For now though, what do you get for $199? Well, as you'd expect, you get the phone, because you paid for it, a silicon case, USB-A to USB-C cable, a 33-watt fast charging brick, your manuals and your inserts, and of course, your SIM ejector pin. So on the face of it, it's really good value for money. And the initial impressions of the device are pretty good as well. Fit and finish, feel, and design is quite nice. But there's so much more to the Redmi Note 12 than it seems on the face of it. So the operating system on the Redmi Note 12 4G is Android 13 with MIUI 14, so all the latest iterations of the various OSs and skins. And as you'd expect, customization is at a premium here. You can do as much as you like, as often as you like, however you like. So wallpapers, themes, colors, settings, palette tones, all that you found in Material UI, you can bring here on your Note 12 4G. And what the great thing is, it's all perfectly summed up and perfectly operated through a 120 Hz AMOLED screen. Yes, this sub $200 phone has 120 Hz refresh rate, which is amazing. And then when you move off that to a video, if you're watching content, etc., it looks stunning on this AMOLED display, because again, it is 1080p and it is AMOLED, so those blacks, those whites, those colors, they pop beautifully, and the output is lovely. In terms of the phone itself and what you're watching, it does have a reasonable chin, is probably the polite way to put it, and then you've got your even borders on the side, but that chin isn't anything worse than what you'd find on a $400 Samsung A34, and that's, as you guessed, is twice the price of the Note 12 4G. Let's take a quick walk around the device. So you've got your USB, it's not USB, about 3.5mm jack, IR blaster, volume up and down and power button, USB-C connector, and then on that side you've got your micro SD card slot, yes, and your SIM card slot. This is like a sick OG 5-year-old phone, it's quite cool. And then build quality wise, it's pretty well built. It is plastic, but it is well built, and generally speaking, it's quite nice in the hands as well. So the Redmi Note 12, actually, you know what, shaping up to be pretty good, but spoiler alert, you'll find out soon. So let's talk cameras of the Redmi Note 12, and as you'd expect, there's nothing spectacular here, and the images produced are not like great quality, but they're pretty decent for what you pay. You do get an ultra wide, and then a 2x, and it does capture decent lighting, decent focal length, so not too bad. If you look at things like portrait mode, which is actually really difficult to get a good portrait shot, and macro mode, again, difficult to get a good macro shot, what a bit of a challenge. Otherwise, generally speaking, the output is pretty decent. Night mode, oh dear, let's just leave it at that. Not great at all, but what can you expect from a phone that costs less than $200? Front facing camera is as expected, a lot of beauty filter on it as standard, and then the rear camera, 1080p, 30 FPS. What do you think of the footage? Pretty decent, nothing amazing. Let's talk spec of the Redmi Note 12 4G. So you get a 6.6-inch AMOLED display at 120 Hz, we mentioned that earlier, but you get 1200 nits of brightness, which is 200 more than you get in the Samsung A34, which again is twice the price of this. Then you have 4 GB of RAM, 128 GB of storage on board with the SD card as an expansion option, 5000 mAh battery, and Snapdragon 685. On the rear, you get a 50 megapixel wide, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and 2 megapixel macro. And that is the Note 12 4G, so pretty good specs considering it's $199, but let's get to the confusing bit that we've been teasing this whole video. This Note 12 4G is part of a possible 5 device range that sits in the Redmi Note 12 4G. So you've got the 4G version, which is here. You get a 5G, a 12 Pro 5G, and a 12 Pro Plus 5G. But there's also a turbo model as well, which is just, what? Why do we have so many Note 12? I don't know, but this is a common theme in Xiaomi. So if you take the 13, which is like the flagship series, it starts at 13 Lite, then you got 13, 13 Pro, 13 Ultra, Why? There's no need to have so many devices sitting under one umbrella, and that's where devices which are really good, such as this, that offer really good performance. If you look at things like gaming, running in medium settings on Call of Duty, actually it runs pretty well. There are some slowdowns, some loading issues, etc., but generally when you're in, it operates pretty well. But devices like these are going to get lost because people are going to look at the price and think, oh, you know what, that's not going to be right for me, bin that off, and they go for like the high device prices, which is fine, but why not streamline and make it a bit easier to shop and a bit more fun as well, and put a bit more in the phone? Like, get rid of the macro lens and chuck in like a periscope lens and an extra £100 on top. People pay $299 for a phone that has all those extra features that they know is going to last them longer. But anyway, on its own merit, the Redmi Note 12 4G is a pretty good device at $199, especially when you get the 120 Hz refresh rate and an AMOLED display, as we've seen. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until the next one, we out.